where they came from in Africa, one of which is our most popular, the Shango, the Congo, and the Rada. There are Rada communities of drumming in Belmont and various places in Trinidad, remote places, Sandy Grande, Saparia, that kind of place. You want to add anything to that? Okay, moving on. Oh, before, can we go back? Master drummer Julian Straker, before Mr. Carter took his post at UE, this was our drum instructor. He passed away 2 years ago, is Julian Straker. He was our drum builder, and I think tomorrow we have some workshops on how to build and tune drums, right? Moving on. I think this is one thing that, Mikael, you hit upon. Perhaps you'd like to augment it a little bit more in the fact that he went into a little bit of the kalinda and the drumming and how the cultures, as the plantation owners would notice that maybe messages were being sent by way of drums, communication, that simply another type of drumming would be invented. So you can't get the rhythm out of us, can you? So you have from African drumming to the tambu bamboo, the non-pitched metal beating instruments, as well as now the steel band. And that's just one island. Many, many other places, as you'll see from our guests here, have different contributions and musical genres.
Basically, the picture you see on the screen there, on the slide, that's basically our African traditional drum system, which is based on 3 drums. One is bass, which is the deepest one. One is fuller, which is the second drum, and one is cutter. The tallest one, of course, being the cutter, where someone could actually do improvisation and they do different things, like they cut for dance steps, they are able to bring in songs with a certain rhythmic phrase, etc. And all of these have different dimensions, of course, to give the drums the specific tones. But the bass and fuller doesn't have any other names, but the cutter does. The cutter is also called a shiko.
As he's speaking about the families of instruments and the different sounds, you know, you could trace African drumming all the way to the steel band with the cutter. Some of the same words are used, fuller, cutter, that kind of thing, in all of our genres of drumming in Trinidad and in the Caribbean. And you were talking about some of the different characteristics of African drumming and the polyrhythmic. Maybe we could have a little demonstration of polyrhythms and singing in minor modes. I think you're going into that a little bit. You want to augment that? Okay. So again, this is our African drumming ensemble at UE. Here we go. Okay. Now, as an educator, I feel obligated to kind of give you a little bit of background of percussion instruments. And as Mr. Prescott announced, you know, my love for percussion began from a very small age, as even the percussion instrument, the piano is a percussion instrument because the strings are hit with hammers. And in my own little rebellious way, I've always wanted to become a percussionist. I was told I couldn't be a percussionist because it was for girls, and then I said, well, that's what I would like to play. I would like to play percussion. And percussion is, like Mikael was explaining, it's eclectic, meaning, you know, we collect instruments from all over the world. When you think of the instruments you pick up with your hands, they could, like cymbals are from Turkey, and the various different types of instruments we have come from all over the world. So you become collectors of percussion instruments and the different categories thereof, percussion. A guy by the name of Sachs, S-A-C-E-H-S, last name, categorized instruments into family groups about how the sound is produced. And we are really unique as percussionists in that we basically cover all of the categories of instruments. You wouldn't think, oh, we just hit membranes, membranophone. Well, we have on the stage here membranophones. We have a skin head stretched over, and the skin could be goat, could be any cow, deer, whatever. But that is a membranophone because the sound is produced from a membrane. We have chordophones, we have things like strings, bull and bear, and different kinds of percussion instruments. Aerophones, things that the sound is produced by blowing, like a bird whistle. But these are considered to be percussion instruments. Lo and behold, back in the days when they had black and white movies, silent movies, they'd be the pit like we have here, and the musicians would have to improvise, and they would have all kinds of percussion instruments to watch the film and depict the sounds of somebody running or falling or laughing or whatever, and you'd have all these different types of categories of percussion instruments. Membranophones is what we have there, and the last thing is we even have electrophones. And even percussionists have electrophones, and I would have to say that our newest electrophone is like the Phi instrument. If you plug it in, that's how you get the sound. If the electricity goes out, the current goes. No sound. Okay, moving on. Anything pro bono, and his name is Bruce Procope. He's a QC. He is 80-something years old now. He still has his headquarters in Port of Spain. But you can see he was also an African drummer. So he was a drummer by night and a lawyer by day, which is kind of interesting. And he has many, many stories. He is one of the drummers on a Cook recording. The Smithsonian collection, people came down here to do recordings of African drumming from 1956, and he was one of the drummers on the recording. Of course, we need to mention Andrew Bedeau is the person who really had his skill of bringing us from African drumming to all the tambour bamboo, unpitched metal beating. All right? We're going to go quicker now. Okay, different types of percussion instruments. Percussion instruments that do not have a pitch are considered to be battery percussion. Even though these membranophones might be considered battery, some of them do have a pitch. If you hit the drum, they would have a sound, but not maybe intentionally. So there's two types of percussion. There's the battery percussion, and there's the tune percussion. There's African instruments, African xylophones as well, but here's a few pictures of tune percussion from timpani on the bottom right, xylophone, marimba, the vibraphone, which you can plug in, so it's sort of an electrophone at the same time. Next one. One of the reasons why I came to Trinidad was to try to educate the public in percussion. I was one of those people who would watch videotapes of music festival, and I would see very improper technique being done with our percussionists who would, like you can see here, someone playing the triangle incorrectly, holding it incorrectly, somebody playing the gong, not in the spot he's supposed to be playing the gong. So people from around the world were seeing Trinidadians playing these classical percussion instruments incorrectly, and not to say they were being laughed at, but they were being laughed at. So we had to try to correct that, and I thought, well, what better way here to do that and to teach percussion at UE and teach Tobago all the time. One of the things that I did was combine percussion and steel pan in Pan of 21st Century, and they weren't quite sure what to do with the glockenspiel and some of the other instruments. A couple years before that, I had a keyboard playing a cannon shot. Now, you don't want live cannons in Jean-Pierre complex, so we programmed the boom on a keyboard instrument, and again, that went down as, oh, they're playing all the music on the keyboard, but not as percussion, right? So we're trying to educate people in percussion in Trinidad and Tobago. Next. One of the most recent things we did was with Hatters was the ensemble category, where we utilized percussion instruments. We used old-time steel drums. We used idiophones, like that's the sound producing the clock, the cowbells, go-go bells, shakers, and there's an aerophone. Somebody's playing a whistle, right? So we had some traditional percussion with non-traditional. Moving on, we're almost done. This was our percussion ensemble from our last concert. It was percussion on the greens, and tomorrow you'll get to hear percussion in the amphitheater in St. James. One more slide. I don't know if you can see this, but we're trying to do some untraditional percussion as well. So we have some brooms, some rhythm pieces called Brooms Hilda, and then Stinkin' Garbage, where we actually played the tops of garbage cans. We'll be doing that tomorrow in St. James. So I know this is a lot to say in a short period of time, but that's basically what I've been trying to do along with my student Mikel here in Trinidad at UWI. Any questions?
I will try to go quickly. Rachel? Alright, so my task here today is to talk about something called the Artist Registry, formerly known as the National Registry of Artists and Cultural Workers. And we thought that we would include it today because we have musicians in the audience, we have artists and creatives in the audience. Some people still don't know about the initiative, but this is something that you should take on board and really consider becoming a part of, that we can dip into to enable opportunities for your success. It was launched in 2011, but we did our first distribution of certificates in 2012, and so far we have 384 persons registered. We definitely want that number to increase, and this is the breakdown of what our registrants are. We register individuals, organizations, and we also certify work. Alright, so why is this important to you? Okay, so our three main benefits are receiving an internationally recognized certificate. This is something that we have gone to Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Finance. We have asked them to inform all their stakeholders, which includes embassies and different diplomatic agencies around the world, that this exists and it is a state official document. It also allows you to become officially recognized as an artist, both nationally and internationally, as well as receive support for your artistic work. And we are looking to make this criteria for you accessing grant funding from the ministry. Alright, so applying is very easy. There's no cost to applying. What you would do is fill out an application form. We have forms online. You can come into our office. We're on Frederick Street in Port of Spain. And we also have forms through TT Connect offices. And we are also updating our database where you would be able to apply online. Alright, and as I said, there's no cost to any part of this process. Once you submit your application, you submit it to the Registry Secretariat, and then it goes to an assessment committee who meets once a month, and once you're approved, you get a certificate that is signed by the executives of the ministry. Alright, so getting into some of what we will be dealing with today. And what I like to emphasize regarding the registry is that this is not just a piece of paper. We're not trying to make your lives difficult by having a long, involved application form. What we're really trying to do is to have you organize yourself and your work as a professional, whether it be a musician, a visual artist, a photographer, a designer. So a lot of the things we ask for in our application are things that you should have as a professional artist anyway. So some of the things are proof of citizenship. So this is for citizens of Trinidad and Tobago currently. A letter of recommendation which speaks to your work, samples of work or portfolio. So a lot of people, we had workshops with the Art Society most recently. We had one yesterday evening. And we realized that a lot of people don't have their work all together. So if somebody wants to offer you an opportunity, so there's a residency or a travel abroad opportunity, and they want to see what you do, how long is it going to take you to get your things together to send that information to them? You should have an offline portfolio as well as an online portfolio. Alright, we require an artist profile as well, a very short one which speaks about who you are and what you do, and then a headshot, preferably current. Alright, we also accept proof of membership in organizations. So if you're a member of the Art Society or the Percussion Circle, as we would have heard, we would accept that information, as well as if you have qualifications from academic institutions regarding your artistic work. Alright, so samples of work, I won't get into this too much, but basically we need to get a portfolio from you. For musicians specifically, there's something called an EPK, which is an electronic press kit. And that basically is taking a traditional promo package, so your photos, your videos, your bio, and creating a digital version of that. So that if somebody wants to see what you do, you can email them a link, and all of this is found online. Alright, I just had some pictures here of what an EPK can look like. You can create something in Word, turn it into a PDF, and you can forward that. Or there are templates that you can find online. A lot of them are free. They're very simple. If you know how to use Facebook, you know how to create an EPK. Alright, and I have a slide with resources. So if you leave your email addresses with us, there was a young lady outside, we can email you some of this information as well. Alright, to us, for the registry purposes, you can bring in your physical samples of work. So if you have a tangible portfolio, something on a CD or a DVD, you can bring that into us. Or you can send links to us at nationalregistrytt@gmail.com. Alright. Based on our workshop yesterday, I just wanted to pull out some of the information. We have partnered on an international project with Fiji, South Africa, and the UK, and we were able to have two presenters, one from Scotland and one from England yesterday over Skype, talking about portfolio building. And this was some of the information that they shared. So basically they're saying in terms of your portfolio, it should not be everything that you have ever done. We want to see samples of your work. If somebody's saying, okay, I'm going to give you a grant based on 5 samples of work that you submit, what would you choose? So you really have to think about what is best representative of you and your brand. Portfolio should be amenable to context and audience. So if you're getting an opportunity to perform in front of a school of younger children, your portfolio, what you submit to get that job, may be very different from doing an international concert or something at a jazz festival. So you have to think about who your audience is going to be in terms of the consumer as well as the employer. Portfolio should offer the ultimate elevator pitch. So really, if you had 5 minutes to talk about what you do, what would you say? And that is really what you want your portfolio to represent. Portfolio should be networking for you. Again, sharing your brand and who you are. And then preparing your portfolio, your book, is an important process and part of your journey. So we'll be talking about notating things, documenting things later. A lot of us who are creative, you're so wrapped up in doing the work that you forget to take pictures of your process, pick up your phone and take a 15-second video. When we get into things like copyright and intellectual property, how do you prove that you were the originator of your workshop? So you would find, like actors, for example, you may have a commercial shot and then a shot of you in a row. For a musician, you may have a shot of you on stage. So what is best representative of what you do? And this should always be updated. You don't want to send something that's 10 years old and then when people see you in person, it's a complete different image. Alright, so resources here. So if you leave us with your email, we can send this to you and you would have access to all of these links where we got the information. And then we want to encourage you to get registered. Again, there's a secretariat of about 5 of us at the Culture Division on Frederick Street. We are accessible by phone, by email, or you can come in person and visit us. And we are there to really guide you through the process of getting registered. Organizing yourself is critical if you're trying to access opportunities. And that's it. I don't know if anybody has any questions. We'll be here outside at the table for a little bit.
The tambour, the hardcore dance, the musical ensemble of the internationally acclaimed dance company, Aiko Dance, based in Haiti. He's a drum teacher who listens patiently to his students, leading workshops and classes during the company's international engagements. He also teaches at different dance schools and elementary schools in Port-au-Prince. He's traveled extensively with Aiko Dance and has performed on international stages such as the prestigious Carnegie Hall in New York City, Adrian Arch Center for the Performing Arts in Miami, Craft Center in West Palm Beach, Florida, Casa de las Americas in Madrid, Teatro Escorial in Escorial, Spain, Teatro Nacional in Dominican Republic, the Rialto in Atlanta, Georgia, among others. Daniel Breville was born into a drumming family. He attended École Nationale des Arts, Haiti's premier school of the arts. He's also the former musical director of Art Corps and Agro Dance Company and Tambula, two of Haiti's premier folkloric dance troupes. Over the past 25 years, Daniel has worked to foster an understanding of Haiti, its traditions, and its distinct cultural expressions. He has recorded and performed with luminary figures of Haitian music such as Azor, Emily Michel, James Jamal, and Daniel.
Some energy here, because when I said bonsoir, you guys should know what bonsoir means, right? Because we here we're speaking English, but at the same time, so you know where I'm coming from. It's a country who speak French and Creole. So you're not here to just hear about drum or all other history, but also you're here to learn some languages, or why not some rhythm, and why not some song, right? Perfect. Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Comment allez-vous?
Ça va bien, merci.
Moi aussi.
Yes, I've been playing drums for the past 30 years. And I can say, back in the day, drummers used to be shy to identify themselves as a drummer, as a percussion. It's because where we are right now, it wasn't like that years ago. It's because if you play a guitar, you will be welcome to someone. You will be welcome on a stage. You will be welcome to sit next to somebody. But once you have a drum, people will not treat you the same. It's because they just not get it the same way as you are a musician. And for now, for me to be here today, as talking about Haitian history, drums, I'm proud to be Haitian, and I'm proud to be here with some Haitian drums, and later on I'm gonna identify what kind of drums that I have here with me. When I said back in the day, drummers used to be afraid to identify themselves, is because what I've been through. Sometimes if I'm gonna go to rehearsal and I have my drum, and I'm trying to sit with next to somebody, people treat you like you are a voodoo person. You are about to kill someone. But now I can say, this is my weapon right here. The drum is my weapon. When I got a drum, I can shoot at somebody with my drum. It's because my connection with the Spirit, as a child who born to drum and raised by the Spirit after that. So the drum became a weapon for me. That I can shoot at somebody is because my connection with my Spirit, that I can feel if the Spirit is around, and when I hit the drum, to call the Spirit to come through, he's gonna have to come through. That's what I call my drum, as a weapon. And as you know, the Asian revolution, without the words of voodoo, without the drum, we will not be the first black country in the world who declared independence. It's because of voodoo. 1791, when we gathered at Wakaima to do our ceremony to be free and call the spirit of Ogo, who is the word, spirit, to give us the strength to be able to find our freedom. And if today Asian folks will not gratitude, is because for what drum have been done for 80, that's when you are not Asian and you don't know anything about your history. So today, if I can be here to talk about Haiti, it's because drums made me, he made me a speaker, that I can talk, that I am free. I am no more a slave. It's because of the drum. What I have 3 drums here, which is 3 mother. We call them mama, but they're coming from a family patois. The petro is one of the rhythm we use when we are about to do the healing for people. To put something on somebody to protect you as a God. By January 6th, when we celebrate the King, the season of King, so this King is the God that one of the priests put on you to protect you. So every January, you're gonna have to go, once your car running out of gas, you put some gas for your car to be running, for you to not stuck on the road. So if your God, you got on your body to protect you, it doesn't really get things to make your guard strong, you're not gonna be strong. You're not gonna be really, once you're walking out on the street, when something is happening, you're gonna be not feel secure is because something might happen to you. But if your spirit, your faith is really strong, that you know your spirit is being treated good, you don't have to worry about anything that's gonna happen on the street. That's why my faith and my belief is to bend your knees and for you to go lower. So the Yambaru rhythm, it's one of the rhythm who's a part of all the spirits. You can play Yambaru for all spirits, and when it's about you honoring one specific spirit, he has his own specific rhythm. Let's say, example, if we play for Dambala. Dambala is the spirit of snake. You play the Yambalu for Dambala. If you play the Yambalu for Dambala, then the Dambala, with your interpolation, the Dambala gonna have to come through. So I'm gonna just have free snare, which is my brother from Haiti. Brother as an Asian, to play just a little Yambalu for you to just get a sound, how the Yambalu rhythm sound like. Please play Yambalu. Thank you so much. And then, like I said, you guys here, not to just listen about what is all type of drum are, but also you are here to learn. I would like to hear you guys say, Saluwe. Saluwe. Saluwe.
Saluwe.
Legba saluwe.
Legba saluwe.
Paren legba saye.
Paren legba saluwe.
Salye zanfan yo.
Salye zanfan yo.
Vodou legba ye.
Vodou legba ye.
Salye zanfan yo.
Salye.
Saluwe. Legba saluwe. It's a song to salute you, as I can tell from me. You are the spirit of faith.